Hi, I'm Cardonis, and welcome to the Gunlance Guide. New to Gunlance or Monster Hunter in general, this guide will give you all the information you'll need to become a Master Gunlancer in just a few minutes. I'm an HR-71 Gunlance man with over 800 uses under my belt. So we're going to start off with basic controls. So you press X to get your weapon out, but I'm sure you probably already know that. Like so. Not rocket science. Press Y to put it away. If you're moving and press X, do the nice dash attack. Personally like doing that. If you're running, press X and A at the same time. You'll instantly go into guard. That will come in handy at some point, I assure you. So now, basic attacks. Press X, stab once. Keep pressing X, do a full combo. Press B after attacking to sidestep. Now, you see those little things in the top right corner, left corner? Guard, press A, load your Gunlance. Press A to shoot. You can reload as long as there's any empty slots left. Do a fun little trick. Press A to shoot. Press A, quick reload. Gives you the one shot you use back. Shelling is what makes Gunlance unique from every other weapon Monster Hunter. So, you usually want to spam shelling as much as possible. For your best combo, you go stab, stab, slam, and press A. And unload every shot you have loaded. Your also big source of damage is you press R, and you hold X and A. You'll start charging, and you'll fire your Wyvern's Blast. You can't move, but you can rotate while you're using it. And I wouldn't recommend using that unless the monster is down, trapped, or such, until you really get the hang of it. It's not an easy thing to learn. You can't dodge forward as Gunlance, you can only hop backwards, which makes it a little tricky to get the hang of for dodging. Guard. You have the best guard in the game, except maybe Lance, but I'm pretty sure they're the same. Feel free to abuse it as much as you can. But your guard only covers your front. If something's coming from behind, you gotta turn. It's faster to turn when you're not guarded. When you're guarded, you can stab up like that, as opposed to just stabbing like that. You can evade when guarding, but there's no real point to that. Next up, we're going to be going over the Gunlance weapon basics. So, let's forge Gunlance. So see here with the Iron Gunlance. You have your attack, and you have your sharpness, you have your affinity, and slots like everything else. But with Gunlance, you also have this thing called shot level, and the normal in brackets there. What this means is, normal dictates what type of weapon shot you have. Normal gives you 5 ammo. Long gives you 3. And wide gives you 2. Wide deals the most damage, but obviously you have less ammo to work with. Overall, their blasts are the same in damage. Shot level starts at 1 and goes to 5, with 5 being the best, obviously. Each shot level is a big increase from the last, so if you're using artillery a lot, you mainly want to focus on your shot level rather than your attack or even your sharpness. Because shot level doesn't go off of your sharpness at all. You also can't bounce with it, stuff like that. In terms of Gunlances in general, I would highly recommend building Princess Panoply, as it's generally effective against everything, as well as Dios Gunlance, for the same reason. You can also build the Eclipse Gunlance, but I find that by the time you get to that point, you don't really need a better Gunlance, being rare 10. Here we're going to go over the best Gunlance for each elemental type. For fire, recommend this one, but obviously you can't get that till the end of the game. So grab Agnactor, which gives you a nice affinity boost, good slots, and pretty decent shot level, and really nice fire. For water, Agna Aqua is possible, which is Glacial Agnactor, but personally, I prefer the Diviathan Gunlance, which is Plesioth. It's probably the best water Gunlance out there. It's what I would recommend. Ice, you do not have a lot of a good option. You basically have Rosk Avalanche, and it's not great. You can also take Lagombalanche, but it is worse. I wouldn't really recommend either one of them, but you need an ice at some point. Thunder, I'd recommend Oppressor Skyfall, which is Zinogre, but if you can get a Lagiacrus one up high enough, which is Dixie White Bolt, but even then it's not great until you get it up to Abyssal, which again is pretty much pointless. Thunder Arc has a lot of lightning damage, but has really poor sharpness, a low sharpness level, or low sharpness, low shot level, low attack, but has a really good 450 lightning. So it's possible, but I wouldn't overall recommend it as your Thunder. In terms of Dragon, I would highly recommend the Ancient Shard weapons, as is pretty much the same for every weapon for Dragon. But if you can't get a hold of that, which took me forever, so I wouldn't blame you, you can grab a hold of the Gen Moran Gunlance, which is really nice. This is only an H rank one. It is really good. For recommended skills, I would pick Guard Up and Guard Plus if you want to run Guard as your main form of defense. You can run Evade Extender to work on sort of a more function on dodge with Gunlance, which is really fun, but you can't get Evade Extender until H rank, so it's not I personally don't believe it's viable until H rank to run Evade Gunlance. This set here gives you Artillery Novice, Guard +1, Defense up small, and Attack up small. All you need for this set is a charm with 2 slots in it. That's all you need. Or a weapon with 1 slot and a charm with 1 slot. Artillery is probably one of the easiest things to gem into sets as possible, because each slot gives you 2 instead of 1 and doesn't give you any drawbacks. So 5 slots, just slap them right in. For this set I also gemmed out Hunger, so if you don't mind taking the extra Hunger, then you can just take a 1 slot charm and still have Artillery Novice in L rank. For H, you have your Steel Jurgen, which the sets run Artillery Novice, Guard Boost, Guard +1, and Stamina Cover Up. This is a much more defensive thing for H rank. The Stamina Recovery Up will help you a lot, and you basically don't have to worry about running out of stamina ever. Guard Boost makes it so you don't fear anything. You can just cower behind your shield all day long and they can't do a thing. Whereas if you don't have Guard Boost, certain things such as a Plesioth's Beam, an Agnactor Beam, and certain Giganox attacks will just cut through your guard like it isn't even there, and you'll just take the hit full out, which is really bad. But you don't need Guard Boost per se, but I find it's really helpful. When you hit H rank, you gain access to Naga Kouga, and this is easily the best evade set in the game. Well, it's the best set to build. Your dodges get a massive increase in range. It makes a huge difference, believe me. Allows you to dance around the monster like it isn't even there. It takes a lot of getting used to, but once you do get the hang of it, nothing stands to you. With Evasion +2, you can dodge through 90% of attacks just by pressing the B button. This set runs full Narg and easily between a 2-slot charm gets in Evasion +2, Artillery Novice, and keeps your Sneak and Evade extender. Short Sprinter isn't really a big deal. It just means that when you're running, your stamina decreases a little faster, but not a lot. And it doesn't affect your dodges or anything like that, so I personally find it's completely pointless and has no effect on you whatsoever. G rank is when you start to have a lot more freedom to do what you want. This set is probably my favorite one. It's a mixed set between Steel Jurgen and Glacial Agnactor, which gives me Artillery Expert, Guard +2, Mind's Eye, Guard Boost, and Biomaster. With absolutely no drawbacks, it is by far my favorite set in the game. Now, unfortunately, you do need a pretty decent charm. My current one for this is a Guard Up +4 with 3 slots, but I don't use all 3 of them. So it can be a bit hard, but you don't need to have biology on it for the set. So you should be able to get the set pretty easily. There's also this set, which is what I run for Evasion, which gives me Status Attack +2, Awaken, Razor Sharp, Evade Extender, and Evasion +1. It runs an End of Night, which awakens into a 230 para, counting your Status Attack +2, which is really nice. You do, however, absolutely need a very good charm for this, and the 2 slots on the Gunlance. It's a bit tight for that one. This is a nice Awaken set, just general all-purpose. Runs Jurgen, Helm, and Falds, which is key for most sets I use, or for a good chunk of sets I use anyways. Gives Artillery Expert, Guard +2, Awaken, and Guard Boost. It's pretty simple. I use this thing with Stygian Avarita, the Deviljo, and with with Green Narg, but not as often as I use the Evade. Now, these aren't the be-all and the end-all set, by far. They're personally what I use and what I find is really good, but when you get to G rank, you have a lot more options as to what you want to do. And I would highly recommend experimenting with your own designs on what you want for gun lances. In the description, there's a link to a site called MHAG, which is short for Monster Hunter Armor Generator. It's a nice little program that allows you to experiment on mixed sets without having to actually build them in-game first. So I highly recommend starting with a charm you already have. So you build off of the charm so you don't have to spend hours upon hours hoping to get the perfect charm you need. And which is a huge pain, and I would never wish that upon anybody, even my worst enemies. And with that, the end of this tutorial. If you found it helpful, drop me a like or something, let me know. If you have any questions, be sure to leave a comment asking them. I'll check them as often as I can. And, yeah, that's it.